Hello and welcome to Tax Tips 101. Today's discussion will be tax deadlines. There's several to look at, and I just want to make sure that you understand that the 2020 taxes are the ones that you will be working on for the 2021 year. 2020 is the tax year. Okay, so let's make sure that that's clear. The first date has already passed, and that's January 15th. That is only for self-employed people who have fourth quarter income that they need to get postmarked by January 15th. The next date is April 15th, 2021. That date is not changing. It usually is April 15th. Last year in 2019, the date changed. This year it is steady at this time. Okay, so those must be postmarked by April 15th or sent in electronically and accepted by the IRS by April 15th. And if you cannot pay, there's going to be another video that I'm going to discuss later or have in the playlist. But if you have a refund coming, then you don't have to worry about filing an extension. But if you owe, then you definitely want to file an extension, and that deadline is April 15th as well. I have another video that discusses how to do that soon. Also on April 15th, first quarter estimated taxes are due, and that's only for the self-employed. Also on April 15th, it's the last day that you can make a 2020 IRA contribution. So if you do not know what that is, then you won't have to worry about it. But if you have an IRA and you want to save on the taxes that you might owe, you can always either put cash into your IRA or you can open an IRA and fund it, but you must do so by April 15th. The next deadline is June 15th, and that again is for self-employed only, and it is second quarter estimated tax payments. On September 15th, third quarter 2021 estimated taxes are due. Now, this is going to be interesting for most of us this year. If you decided to file an extension, then on October 15th, 2021, your taxes must be postmarked by that time or sent in electronically by that time. And remember, I'm going to discuss this in another video as well. But if you file an extension, that does not mean that you get an extension on the money that you owe if you indeed owe. You will have to pay interest on that, but it will prevent you from getting a penalty for not filing. The next date is coming back around again, January 15th, and that is for the fourth quarter estimated tax payment, and that has to be postmarked the next year by January 17th, 2022. Okay, so if you missed any of these deadlines, you do have options, and they're going to depend on what deadline was missed and whether you owe money or you're due a refund. All right. If you overpaid for the 2020 tax year, then there's typically no penalty whatsoever for filing your tax return late. You need to file it as soon as possible so you won't forget though, and you won't be giving the IRS a tax-free loan. Remember, you have up to 3 years to file a return if you are owed a refund. So you need to get that as soon as possible, or you will not receive that refund. The IRS will keep that as a donation, and I'm sure that you do not want that. If you missed the tax filing deadline and you owe tax, you should file your tax return as soon as possible, because every day that it's late or delinquent, the IRS will typically charge interest and possibly penalties for the failure to pay until you are able to file your return and pay the balance due. So one thing that I will be discussing in a future video is how you can actually set up a payment plan with the IRS so that they will know that you're not just trying to blow them off and then cause problems for you down the line. And let me tell you, they can cause problems. If you are a self-employed person and you missed an estimated tax payment, okay, make the payment as soon as you can. The penalties and the interest that will accrue will depend on how much you owe and how late you are. But you can make that damage smaller by making the payment as soon as possible. Okay? There are other ways that you can possibly get a waiver when you've made mistakes, but it's not a guarantee. Okay? Of course, if you owe more than you can pay, just like I was mentioning earlier or alluding to earlier, then don't just put off filing. Go ahead and do it, and then what you're going to do is you're going to set up an installment plan. I'm going to have information in another video that discuss how you can do that. Okay? Now, the fastest way to file your tax return, of course, is going to be electronically, and most of the tax companies are taking in people's tax returns right now, but the IRS has changed the date for as far as when they're going to start receiving and processing those returns. So just because you went and filed a return or had your return processed with a tax company doesn't mean that they have sent it to the IRS. They cannot send it to the IRS until sometime in February, and that date is going to be February 12th of this year. Okay, so now in order to speed your refund during the pandemic, the IRS is urging all taxpayers to file electronically with direct deposit as soon as they have the information that they need to file. Another thing is that, in case you didn't know, the IRS allows you to place direct deposits in up to 3 different accounts. That is on the last page of your 1040, and you can take advantage of that if necessary. Let's say, for example, I had a client who is married, and yes, they did file jointly, but the spouse did not want her part of the refund to go into her husband's account because it was difficult for her to control whether he was going to give her the money or not. So simply, she would not sign the return to be processed and filed until he agreed to have 2 different accounts on there so that her part of the refund was directly deposited. Okay, so take advantage of that if that's something that is going to be beneficial for you. Okay, so that's it. I gave you a little bit more than I had expected, but that's okay. I want you guys to have as much information as possible. I will provide more tax tips in Tax Tips 101 just as soon as I can, and I want to make sure that it's information that is pertinent for you. And if you have any questions whatsoever, please put them in the comments below. I try to get back to all comments between 24 to 48 hours. And please, if this information was helpful to you, please show kindness by clicking the thumbs up to show that you like the video, and then make sure that you subscribe so that you can get all of the notifications of new updates. You can even share this video out. That would be helpful to anyone that is going to be filing taxes this year, and it's helpful to me as well. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining Tax Tips 101 today, and you have a great day.